Welcome into the Flame Central podcast brought to you by Alcova Mortgage. I'm Annie Corey, joined by Rhett McGibbon, not your usual cast for the Flame Central podcast. Matt and Emily are off in Seattle supporting our men's team, getting ready to kick things off in the tournament. But we're here in Lexington, Kentucky, because here, Rhett, it's all about the ladies.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They will, though. Matt and Emily and Paul Nazigan will have a podcast tomorrow morning. Flame Central podcast from out west, so that'll be exciting. But yeah, you and I tonight breaking down the women, and like I said, they seem loose today, not too nervous. Emma Hess very confident in the press conference, so I'm feeling good about the ladies right now. I really am.
Yeah, nervous but also excited.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't help but be happy for them, to see the joy on their faces, the jitters when you walk into the arena, you see them in their locker room. It was a great time just talking with them, catching up, seeing them practice. It's going to be a really exciting game, and I think that coming off of the tournament that they did, you can't help but feel good about this Lady Flames team right now.
Yeah, you slayed the dragon, right, in that tournament, and you take on Middle Tennessee State, and it was one of those games like, yes, you did finally beat them in the regular season. Would you be able to do it again just a few short weeks later? And that game had some milestones for me, like that three-pointer by Emma Hess in the late stages. That was the dagger. They were needing that in previous years. It never really came to fruition. It did in this game. It was a huge pivotal point, and that, I think in itself, is a big step forward when it comes to tomorrow, taking on Kentucky, a team that they're used to the coach. They've met Kenny Brooks before. There's nothing really going to be new there, and I think that will go a long way for this team. There's the belief, and there's also a little bit of familiarity.
Yeah, and you go back to that tournament run. I mean, first of all, seeing Emma Hess perform the way she did in a big game. I know Coach Carrie Green has been telling us this year, Emma's just gaining confidence as the year goes on. So to see it come to fruition like that in the championship game was awesome. And then also it was a question of, they knocked off Middle Tennessee in the regular season the way they did. I mean, it was awesome. But could they do it again when it came time for the championship game? And I mean, those first two games that they came out and played against Sam Houston and La Tech, they looked unreal.
They really did. And then in that game against Middle Tennessee, we talk a lot about the starters and how well they perform. But again, you go to the Liberty depth, and I think that was a huge key in this game and throughout the conference tournament as well, because Middle Tennessee, those girls are running like 38 minutes. Like, you have to think when you're playing, I believe it's 3 games in 4 days for them, you're wearing down. Like, you have to be getting near the end of your tank. And Liberty, again, with that depth on the bench, they just had enough to get through, and they performed extremely well. Bella Smuda, again, shutting down Bouldereva for the most part. Hess had some big shots. Peen Steenbergen has really come on lately. You see that knee is getting better and better, and she's almost fully healthy, and it feels like that touch and timing is finally back to where it was her freshman year. So, again, it was really fun to watch them in that championship game. You're kind of biting your bottom lip thinking, oh boy, are they going to be able to hold on? Because we saw how the men performed, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of saw a state. You get down big. They come charging back. You hope that, okay, maybe Middle Tennessee isn't going to be able to do the same thing against Liberty, but they held on.
Yeah, I mean, that fourth quarter, just putting the dagger in with Emma Hess at the end there. And you talk about that Liberty bench, too. I mean, outscoring their opponents 88-21.
Crazy. Over
3 games. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge testament to the recruitment this season, what they've built through this depth of the bench. And, we were talking with Emmy Stout and Avery Mills today about what it's like to go from state champions together last year in high school. Both of them true freshmen this year here at the NCAA tournament. It's just an unreal path that they've taken. So we're going to let you guys hear a little bit of that conversation right now.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. Again, like, we both played 2 years in high school together, and winning a state championship was really awesome. And then we both came in together, like, a little nervous, like, at first, new team, a new start. D1 basketball is obviously a lot different than high school ball. So it was nice to obviously have, like, a friend that I knew going into it, and then just playing the season, getting to know each other and the team, and then obviously winning the conference championship. It was just an awesome experience. It was great to share with Avery as well.
Since high school, we had practices every day together. Like, we've spent so much time together, and now just being roommates is even more, but it's great, Emmy's a great roommate. We're both clean. We go to bed at the same time, so yeah.
I mean, it was definitely an encouragement to me, especially like my first game. Like, I always knew I can count on Avery. She makes great passes to me, and then obviously I can count on her to make the shot out. She's just a great all-around player, so having to be able to play with her, and then just all the other girls on the team, they're all so skilled and so encouraging. Like, it's just I'm really blessed to be on this team.
Our LCA team, they're so supportive of us. Like, I know you probably do too. I get texts like all the time from them. them and stuff on social media. They'll just post about us. Like, it's awesome to, they see us here now, and some of them are athletes too, so they kind of look up to us in that aspect, so it's awesome.
Well, yeah, it's great hearing from those two, and I think that if you're an LCA staff member, former player, anything like that, like, you can't have anything but pride for what those two are doing right now.
Sure.
I mean, you start with Emmy Stout. We've talked about this story a lot throughout the season. She's probably tired of hearing us talk about it so much, but I mean, it's true. You come off the bench as a redshirt freshman, you get that redshirt year taken off before right when you think you have it, and you get thrown into a spot where she's played a ton of minutes this year, and she's only gotten better and better. Yeah,
she really has. She's proven herself a very mobile shooter in the block. She can get up and down the court really quickly. She's been a great presence in the paint for Liberty. And again, you kind of come in, you're thinking, okay, true freshman here, one that was totally thinking I'm going to redshirt this year. I'm not going to see the court in game action. She comes in against Randolph, has a monster of a game, 20 plus points. It was terrific. And then I think obviously you come back down to earth when you get against D1 competition again, but she's continued to improve and grow. She's battling for rebounds. And again, I think she does a great job in transition. She's probably, if you think about it, out of the bigs Liberty had this season, Howard, Smuda, and Emmy Stout, she's probably the best in transition. She's very mobile for a big.
Yeah, and very smart too.
Yeah.
And it only helps when you have Avery Mills out there to communicate with. They were talking about the way they communicate with each other. I'm sure it helps a ton. And also seeing Avery, like, you have nothing but excitement for what she's going to become in the future. I mean, she's going to be a threat in the coming years.
She's not your everyday freshman. That's the truth of the matter. And I saw somebody on Twitter here lately say that Avery Mills is going to win a Conference USA Player of the Year award before it's all said and done, and I truly believe that. Sometime in the next 3 years, she'll be bringing home some hardware. So this young lady, a special talent, a great get for the Liberty program. And you've seen it, what was it, against Tennessee earlier in this year? Now, I know that was like they were shooting out the lights both sides, and there wasn't a ton of defense, but still, when you're putting up in the high teens in a game like that, like, you're doing something right as a freshman.
Yeah, like straight out of high school. Having that kind of a
right,
against Tennessee.
No fear.
Yeah, it's insane. So excited to see what those two do in the near future. But you have to touch on it before we move on.
Okay.
The last time that we saw Bella Smuda versus Anastasia Boldareva, I mean, it's just such a treat to get to watch those two out
really
there.
Is.
And just when Bella Smuda will say it a lot. I don't get to play against players who are my size out there, so it excites me when I get to play against someone as big as Anastasia Boldareva is, and you can truly see their game complement each other and see them really attack each other. Yeah,
it's fun to watch those two battle in the paint, and really, I would say the biggest thing that Bella Smuda has improved upon this season is her ability to take contact in the post. And not that Boldareva is the most physical five that's out there in Conference USA. There's some more that are more, they're going to bang bodies a lot more down the paint with you. But I think Smuda came a long way this season and throughout the course of conference play, truly, and just getting acclimated to that and being able to take it and still be productive. So that was huge. And then it came to show itself, worthy of the effort that she put in that conference championship. That was huge for her. And really, that's what it all came down to. I think that Smuda was able to match her physicality because Boldareva doesn't mind, getting down there and battling with you, and Smuda came out on top, right? She came out on top in the last two meetings between the two, and it was a lot of fun to watch them. I'm sure Bella had a chip on her shoulder knowing this is the last time we're going to go at it. I want to make sure that I get my chance to go to the tournament, and I'm taking you down. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah, 13 rebounds in the championship game. Bella tied her season high. What a performance. And that whole conference tournament, I mean, so many good teams. I think another group that really stands out is Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, got knocked out by Middle Tennessee in the semifinal round. That's just a group of tough, gritty players. They were really fun to watch. That Western Kentucky Middle Tennessee game, it was just a shootout from the minute the game got started, and two really great defenses as well. So the tournament as a whole had some really fun basketball to watch, and I think it just makes you eager to see the kind of talent that keeps growing in Conference USA.
Yeah, let me go to Western Kentucky again really quick. I think that game that they played against Liberty in the late stages of the season, actually right after Middle Tennessee, right? Last game of the year. It was the first game of conference play. It was the last game of conference play for Liberty against the Hilltoppers. They got a big, they were rolling, and I was a little bit worried for Liberty that it was like, okay, you come off an emotional letdown, you finally beat Middle Tennessee in regular season, but you have this game afterwards. You need this one to be number one, right? The fact that Liberty came back in that game and had the composure to respond and battle their way back and win, I almost wonder if that in itself was as big as beating Middle Tennessee, because you're getting over 2 humps in that. You're taking on a really good team. Western Kentucky was a solid program, obviously, and you're able to come back, have your composure, battle your way through, and win that game, and then also knock down Middle Tennessee. Like, that was a couple of big check marks in my mind for Liberty as they went on to their first Conference USA championship.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the final minutes of that game that Liberty did, I mean, it came down to like the last 3-4 minutes
totally.
in that one, and they just never gave up and never stopped fighting, which, like you said, I mean, you think that you finally get over the hump with Middle Tennessee, but the job's not finished with that last game still on the table, so that set them up big time for the conference tournament.
Huge.
So it's a huge conference tournament performance for Liberty. Awesome to see them in the position that they're in, and this return to the NCAA tournament, it brings back some fond memories. It's been 7 seasons since Liberty's been dancing, but 2018 was the last time it all went down. They lost in the first round. Rhett, you were a student, though, when Liberty made their Sweet 16
I
run.
was, yeah.
Way back in the days of Rhett McGibbon on Liberty's campus as a student taking, in his classes.
Yes.
What was the hype like on campus?
It was great. Like, it really didn't hit its peak because, in all honesty, at that point, people were kind of used to the ladies going to the tournament, right? They were a powerhouse during those years, and this was a team that just kind of got it done. But then you had that team, Katie Feenstra, now Matera. You had your big, you had like your European influx as well. Rima Margavashute was on that team, who was a big, and then Dinah, I can't pronounce her last name, so I'm not even going to try. She was point guard, terrific. So that had a really deep team, very similar to the one we're seeing now. And you just had some senior leadership on that group that really had no fear. They were very deep, and again, they had nothing to lose. And but it was a fun ride. Getting to your question, like, after they won that first one, everybody was like, "Oh, look at us." And then they win the second one against DePaul, and you're like, wow, here we are. We're at the Sweet 16, and everybody had belief, and it was just a great group to be a part of and watch, and just a ton of fun. And yes, the hype on campus was real. Everybody was pulling for the Lady Flames at that point.
It has a fun way of bringing the whole campus together when you see a program getting as far as they did in that season. And it was cool also today talking with Coach Matera about that run and what she remembers and how she kind of sees some similarities between that team and this year's Liberty team. So take a listen to what she had to say.
I've been telling these girls since we got here that they're going to be remembering these moments and talking with their teammates for years to come. And I just talked to Crystal Bechtold before we left about our memories and glory days, as you want to call them. And it's just so much fun. We had a mindset that we just wanted to be respected and go in and just play hard and give God the glory in everything that we did. And I feel like we did that, and we were able to just be thankful and blessed to be able to be a part of it all.
And it's a big environment that you're stepping into. Is there any words of advice you've been giving the ladies here so that their nerves are calmed down a little bit on game day?
Just have fun. We had it in our scout this morning. Just have fun. Take it all in, and know that they worked extremely hard for this moment, and they deserve this, and they are a part of this because of their hard work and dedication. So just take it all in and have fun and give glory to the Lord.
What were your nerves like when you hit the floor on game day?
I think I was nervous, but once that jump went up, they all faded away. We had a really talented, deep bench, just like this team, and we all trust each other, just like they trust each other. Their motto is one body, and because of that, any of them could start, any of them could come off the bench, and because of that, I know that they're going to be successful and do great things. However, and it kind of reminds me of that team. And nerves were kind of null and void once the jump went up because we had that same mindset.
Well, yeah, it's great to hear what Coach Matera has to say there. And it's awesome, too, for a team to be able to hear from an assistant coach with an experience like that. She's been there, done that, can give valuable advice for what the team has to expect.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure Bella Smuda is just drinking it up right now. Those two have a close relationship. Bella Smuda also single-digit blocks away from taking over her coach for the most blocks in Liberty program history. But, again, you go into that, and Katie had, like, a tremendous run, and you get the whole why not Liberty saying out of that, right? Like, that was huge, and now Bella's had her opportunity to run with it. And you've just seen her grow into that focal point leader for Liberty basketball. Like when you're at the presser today, the questions are being directed to who? Bella Smuda. So to have Katie Feenstra, who has been through this, who has gone to a Sweet 16, has experienced the media, the focus, the pressure that comes with being the eye on your team, like who everybody has their focus on, I think it's been huge for Bella. And you can tell Bella is just confident. Like she's calm, she's excited, don't get me wrong, but she's really taken this in stride. She's confident and not acting like we're not supposed to be here. She's like, yeah, we belong here, which I think, again, is a big thing to say about this Liberty team that's had a bit of a dry spell as of late when it comes to getting to the tourney. But, again, they just feel like they should be here and they feel like they can compete. Like Emma Hess saying, we're a good team too.
Yeah, you heard Emma Hess say that a lot today. Yeah. Like, don't discount the hard work that we've put in because we deserve to be here just as much as anybody else does. And it's true because you can get caught up in the, the la-la land of we're in a conference tournament, we're in the big dance, when they're feeling like, yeah, we're in the big dance. We worked hard to be here. This is the goal that we set in the beginning of the season. Yeah. So it's going to be fun tomorrow to see them really live that out. Because for Bella too, like it's one thing to be excited about going to the tournament, but it's another thing to have to lock down and be that leader for the group and keep the emotions all on an even level. You saw the emotions spill out in her post-game interview from the Conference USA Championship, and totally warranted. Like that was an amazing moment, and Bella deserved that. I mean, she deserved to cut the nets down after the seasons that she's had. But at the same time, you have a young group. They're all going to be wide-eyed, excited to get on this floor. So it's good to see her really keeping everyone composed and ready and locked in.
I will say they are peaking at the right time. Like this is a team that over the last 10 days has found their highest rhythm that we've seen them play at this season. So the fact that they're bringing that into tournament play, I think speaks a lot. Like it's not like Western Kentucky, or pardon me, it's not like Kentucky. That is where I'm getting my CUSA and NCAA teams. It's not like Kentucky's coming into this and just won an SEC title, so they lost the last game that they played. This is a Liberty team that's come in that has won a large amount of games in a row and are riding a high and are fully confident. So when they go into this game again tomorrow at noon, this is a group that truly does believe that they are going to get the job done. And I think when you look at it, we can kind of do a little comparison here with a former Kenny Brooks team at Virginia Tech that Liberty played that had a little bit of a similar dynamic to them. Like Liberty performed well. Coach Green has come up with game plans in the past against Brooks that has obviously come away with a victory.
Yeah, and let's hear from Coach Green today, who talked a little bit about that relationship between he and Kenny Brooks.
I've known Kenny for quite some time, and at JMU and also at Virginia Tech. He does an excellent job. He's very competitive. His strategies are excellent. We certainly respect what he does. And, coming to Kentucky, I think that's sort of a dream job. You have the resources to compete, and sometimes the success that we have as coaches is really not so much what we bring. We can be an excellent teacher, and if you just don't have the players available because of injuries or recruiting, you're only limited. Some of the greatest coaches are probably in the junior high. I know some great junior high school coaches, and Kenny has progressed, and in this process, he's what I would consider reach a pinnacle in one of the best programs in the country, and he's already got that team there. So I think that indicates his skill set as a coach, his ability to be relational, not only with his players, but with the media and the community, and I just admire him, and I know he's doing a great job. And we've known each other quite some time, and I've seen it, and I certainly respect what he's doing.
Yeah, great to hear about the relationship that those two coaches have developed over the years. I mean, you're not too far apart, Blacksburg and Lynchburg. Yeah. Some really great games between those two teams. And Rett, I mean, the last time they played it was a barn burner.
Yeah, it really was. Like, going back to what you said, they have a long history, right? Brooks was at JMU, then at Virginia Tech. They've been facing each other a lot here over the past decade, really. But you go back several years ago, Virginia Tech had a team that a lot of people expected to compete for an ACC championship. That was led by Elizabeth Kitley, a big of theirs that they were highly excited about. Georgia Amore, currently a Wildcat, was on that Virginia Tech Hokies team. The Australian was a highly regarded freshman that year, and they came into Lynchburg, and everybody thought, like, okay, this is a really big litmus test. The score ended up being 59-40 in favor of LU. And when you look at this team now, Amore on the Wildcats, she's the big scorer for them. They have a big that's solid as well. You feel like there's some similarities there, and I really think, when you look at this Liberty team, they have what it takes to compete at this level. Like, are they going to come away with a dub tomorrow? That's why we play the game, right? But I think there is a really good chance, being at the 13 seed, that they're going to come away and make just a great game of this. Like, I don't expect Liberty to be down big heading into the fourth quarter. This is a team that I think they're going to be able to keep it close. And if you can keep it within single digits heading into the fourth quarter, it's anybody's game.
Yeah, and they're big that you mentioned, Clara Strack. She also was from Virginia Tech. Didn't play in that year you were talking about, though. But she's 6'5". Bella Smuda just came off a game playing against Anastasia Boldareva. Yeah. She's used to the size. Bella can handle it. And, going back to what you were saying earlier, Rhett, ever since that Louisiana Tech loss in, where are they? In Ruston, I believe, is where they are.
I believe that's
in Ruston. It's been a different team since then. You haven't really seen them play an ugly game of basketball since. It kind of flipped a switch from them. You have
I
to
was
admit.
thinking in my head, I was like, when was Jacksonville State? But
I think that was before.
Yes.
I mean, you see that Middle Tennessee game, that Western Kentucky game, and the conference tournament, you see Louisiana Tech again, and just lights out, start to finish. You didn't see anything like you saw before. And it's fun, too, just seeing the ladies go into games saying, I'm so confident in our game plan. I know that what we have drawn up today is amazing, and now we just got to go out there and execute. So when you go into a game feeling great about that, you feel great, you play great. And that's all they've been doing this past month.
Yeah, they really have. And I think it's, it's a number of people stepping up on any given night. That's, again, we talk about the depth of this team that's able to perform, and Steenbergen's been one of those lately. And sorry, let me bounce some questions off you, okay? Yeah. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Tomorrow, there always seems to be like an NCAA tournament darling that maybe doesn't have the highest points per game, but then comes out in turning play and just gets it done. When you look at Liberty, who would that be for you?
Man, see, that's a hard question.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah, that's why you asked me. I want to say Asia Boone is going to have herself a game.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. I want to say Asia Boone's going to let loose. She's a fire in her eye, and she's been consistent over the past month, but I think she's going to go from being consistent to being just pure greatness tomorrow.
Okay. I think there's a lot of options here. Like, when I'm thinking through this, like, I think Peen could have a good game. You're coming off the bench. She's been getting better and better, and I think she's one that has been really just starting to strike the three here as of late. But when it comes into my mind, who is going to be the one that's just going to have this, like, breakout game and really do some damage in her minutes? It's Brooke Moore. Brooke Moore is just such an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, she can get up and down the court, and I just feel like she can go into another zone tomorrow and really be an X factor for the Lady Flames. So curious to see if it's able to happen. Again, it always feels like on some runs you need that player that kind of takes their game to another level. I feel like she's capable of it because she can shoot from deep. Again, she can drive and she can kick. Like, she has all the intangibles to be a stud. Now, again, she's another one coming off a lower body injury from the past season, and it takes a while to kind of get everything back into order. But again, you're getting to the end of the year now. I feel like it's time for a breakout game for Brooke Moore. I think it could happen tomorrow.
And you saw the way she was playing at the conference tournament. Yeah. I mean, all just that natural athletic ability.
Oh, yeah.
Was, you could see it clearly on the floor, and you're so excited to see the way that she grows in Carrie Green's program. And we got to talk with Brooke earlier today about how she feels she's grown the most this season.
Yeah, I think Coach Green always talks about the 95%, and that's basically just like doing the little things like rebounding, boxing out, being in the right places at the right time. So I think just focusing on those things, getting rebounds, and just doing what's good for the team. So yeah, it makes it fun too.
Well, Brooke Moore, one of those players who we might see have a big breakout game tomorrow. It could be coming if Rhett called it correctly. But we talk about this matchup that's looming with Kentucky as we wrap up here. Rhett, when you look at the matchup as a whole, where do you think Liberty can find that edge to maybe come out on top?
All right, so when it comes down to me, it's, like obviously there's high-end athletes on either side. And again, this is a Liberty team that I think could even been ranked higher than 13th, truthfully. I'm sure a lot of Flames fans agree with me. But where the edge comes into play is head coach Kerry Green. Mm-hmm. The man is playing three-dimensional chess out there. Like, he just has an answer for every little detail, and he has something to draw up for every single situation. And he's done this for years. But also, going back to it, and recently on the Flame Central show this past week, I'm talking in Fuego, okay, I'm bringing up WEF for those of you. I said Coach Green deserves to be WEF because you always hear the saying, can you teach an old dog new tricks? And you sure can with head coach Kerry Green. This is a guy that went from just being post, big, and now he has transitioned his team into one that does have his big. He still likes to have his post player, but what do? They're dropping threes like crazy. Like over the past couple of years, they keep breaking the 3-point record, this year included. You've got Hess, Boone, Steenbergen, Mills. All these young ladies can just shoot it. I feel like it was only 5 or 6 years ago when I was saying, boy, it'd be nice to have a young lady who could just hit a three. It would be nice to have somebody who was dropping threes. And you blink, all of a sudden you have more than three. You have several just going at it. So that, I think, is the X factor in this one. I'm curious to see. I believe that the edge is Kerry Green in the sense that, again, he has evolved his coaching style into you want to say the bigs now is kind of like a square peg in a round hole. Well, he has made it work now, right? He has smoothed off the edges. It's a round peg now, fitting into a round hole, and I think he's going to have some good stuff cooked up tomorrow in the tourney.
Yeah, 15th NCAA tournament
Crazy
appearance for the head coach, Kerry Green. Before we let you go, a couple words from our ladies on what their favorite things are about their head coach.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things about Coach Green. I think my favorite thing about Coach Green, though, is he really is a man of God. And he leads us not just as a coach, but he leads us he leads us through Scripture. And he leads us through just biblical teachings. And I think that's been so special because I feel like everyone will take that more than just basketball. It'll take that into life.
My favorite thing about Coach Green is just the way he is outside of basketball, just the way he is as a person, as a believer. And he helped me get through a lot. And, yeah, it's mostly off basketball, yeah.
I probably just him, even putting the coaching stuff aside, just him as a person. I feel like he's just so, patient with us and gets to know us, and he's just a great guy overall. So it's cool playing for him.
All right, so it's going to be head coach Kerry Green versus Kenny Brooks tomorrow in round 1 of the NCAA tournament. And Rhett, we're not here with our cameras in Lexington for nothing. We want to see the Lady Flames play, but we're also going to be providing you guys with some game day coverage, right?
Yeah, that's right. We met up with the ladies today at practice, and you'll have a game preview coming out tomorrow morning. We also, Caroline Shirey did a great job here of kind of documenting the last 24 hours for her, the flight into Lexington, what she's been up to today. That'll be coming out as well. And the secret sauce to it all, Kelly Deo will be joining us tomorrow. We'll hear from her and talk to her about what she thinks is attainable for these Lady Flames.
Yeah, you're going to want to hear it. You don't want to miss it. Also, Caroline Shirey, according to all the ladies on the team, funniest girl on the entire squad. So you never know what's coming your way.
Yeah.
You better tune in. But until
fun.
Next time, Lady Flames, round 1 of the NCAA tournament tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcoa Mortgage. We'll see you at the tournament.